Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tea Time Crochet. Today we're going to be making this wide ribbed headband. I think it's really nice for winter, and it's wide enough to keep, your ears warm and most of your head. So it has ribbing on both sides of the headband. I think it's really nice. That's what it looks like all the way around. So I'll get to the tutorial now. Okay, the things that you're going to need are some yarn. I just have this partial skein of, I believe it's Red Heart Unforgettable. And it's just some leftovers that I had. And this one is in Tidal, is the name of the color. And then you're going to need a 5mm hook, some scissors, a needle with a large eye, and you're possibly going to need a measuring tape. I'm not going to really measure mine too much. I'm just going to, kind of test it around my head where I want it to sit, and then kind of go from there. But for, you may want to measure it. That way, you can get an exact measurement of how long you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to start off with a slip stitch. So I'm just going to create my slip stitch. And then you're going to need to figure out how many stitches you're going to need. The only thing you need to keep in mind is for the ribbon you need a multiple of 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep doing my foundation double crochet until it gets big enough to go around my head. But I'm going to make sure that it's a multiple of 2. And that's only because the ribbing that we're going to do has to have a multiple of 2 in order for it to work out. So to start our foundation double crochet row, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to yarn over and double crochet into this first chain. So I'm going to pull up a loop, and then instead of continuing out the double crochet as I normally would, I'm going to yarn over and pull through just this first loop. So we've created the chain stitch, and then we're going to complete our double crochet on top of that. So just like that. So once more, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go into this chain stitch right here. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over again and pull through just that first loop. So, and then I'm going to complete out my double crochet just like normal. So I'm going to keep doing that until this gets the length that I need it to be with a multiple of 2. So I will meet up with you when I have come up with that number, and I'll let you know what that number is. I have my foundation double crochet row done. I have a total of 58 stitches. You do want to keep in mind that crochet does stretch quite a bit, so you want it to be fairly snug on your head. So you want to make sure that you're not twisted anywhere. So you just want to follow it down like this. And we're going to join to the top of this first double crochet. With a slip stitch. Okay, now I like to go ahead and tie these together, because if not, it's going to be flopping open like that, because it's not connected anywhere except for the top part of your double crochet. So I want to go ahead and connect the bottom, just simply because that really kind of bugs me the further I go. And I'm just going to thread my needle. And I'm just going to go across to the other side. And I'm just going to make a little knot. It's going to be on the inside, no one will see it. I know lots of people don't like to make knots into their work, but I feel it's the most secure way to keep it from coming undone. And no one's even going to know it's there but me. So that just connects the bottom. That way it doesn't bug me throughout the whole thing, because I tend to get it wrapped around and twisted and whatnot, and I really don't like that. So okay, so here we're going to start our ribbing. Okay, so we're going to start our ribbing now. So in order to do that, I am going to, you can chain 3, or you could do a single crochet chain 1, which is what I'm going to do. I mean, it's totally up to you, and I'm going to, throughout the rest of this project, I'm just going to say chain 3 here. Even though I'm not doing a chain 3, I'm just going to say that. That way it's less confusing and I don't have to explain that every single row. So for our next stitch, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So we're going to go around the post and do our double crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do just a regular double crochet. And this is just a different type of ribbing. I have been using it quite a bit lately, and I do like it a lot better than the front post back post double crochet or ribbing. So we did our double crochet there, and then the next one we're going to do a front post. And we're just going to continue that all the way around until we get back to where we started. So once again, I did my front post double crochet here. So in the next one, it's just a regular double crochet, and then a front post in the next. And then regular double crochet, and then a front post in the next. So go ahead and continue that on around, and I will meet up with you when I get to the last stitch. Okay, I've made it back to my last stitch, and it is kind of hidden here, but it should be a front post double crochet. So if you have landed on a front post double crochet, then you're probably got the right count. And then I'm going to just slip stitch to the top of this double crochet here, or chain 3, and that completes round 2. So this is what you should have so far. We're just going to repeat that row one more time. So I'm going to do a chain 3, and then a front post double crochet into the next, or around the next, and then a regular double crochet into the next, and then a front post double crochet around the next. And I'm just going to continue that on around until I get to my last stitch, and then that will be the end of the ribbing for this side of the headband. And you can kind of see, if you look at it, you can kind of see where your front posts are and where your regular double crochets are. So it's a lot easier now. You can kind of just look at it and know exactly where you're supposed to go. So go ahead and complete that row, and then I will meet up with you at the end. Okay, I've made it to my last stitch, and it was a front post double crochet. And now we're going to slip stitch to the top of your chain 3. And that completes the ribbing for this side of the headband. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet into every stitch around. So you're going to want to chain 3 and then put 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Sorry if you can hear that noise. They're building a house just down the street, and it's been going on forever, so it's constantly noisy out there. So I'm just going to continue that all the way around, and I will meet up with you when I get back to this last stitch. Okay, I've made it back to my last stitch, and we're just going to slip stitch on the top of this chain 3 to join, and we're going to repeat this row for however many rows you want. I'm probably going to do 5 or 6 rows. This is going to be what makes the width of the headband, so it's kind of just, you know, up to you how many rows you want. At the end you're going to add an extra 3 rows for your ribbing. So you just want to keep that in mind with the width, that you still have to add this extra bit here on the other side. So go ahead and put 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and then join with a slip stitch to the beginning, and then I will meet up with you after I get all of my set of rows done. And I will let you know then how many I decided to do. This yarn is a little bit thinner than most yarns. It kind of goes from thicker to thin, so I'm not quite sure exactly how many rows it's going to be. It may be 5 or 6, it may even be 7, depending on how it works up. But I will let you know when I get back how many rows I did, and I will meet up with you then. Okay, I completed 6 rows. So we have our first 3 rows of our ribbing, and then I completed 6 more rows of just double crochet, and now we're going to start our last 3 rows of ribbing. I'm going to do a single crochet, chain 1. You can do your chain 3 here, and then in the next one we're going to double crochet around the post of it to do a front post, and then a double crochet into the next, a front post double crochet into the next after that, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around, and we're going to do that for a total of 3 rows or rounds. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my 3 rounds of ribbing, and then I will meet up with you at the end of that last row. Okay, so I finished my rounds, and then I just slip stitched to join and fastened off, and this is what you should have so far. The last thing that you'll need to do is just tie in all your ends, and I think it's going to be really nice and warm, and it's kind of a thicker headband, so it should cover your ears and most of your head pretty well. And like I said, you know, it does stretch quite a bit, So you just kind of want to figure out whether your yarn is, really a stretchy yarn or a tighter yarn. But most crochet will stretch quite a bit, so that's why it looks a little small, but it should fit my head perfectly fine. So I want to thank everybody for watching and have a great day.